Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So this video is about problems in America that give away that the right, the left, and the middle are all wrong. They do not know how to respond to the situation, and they're pretending that they know how to respond. I'm the only one who knows what they're doing, and it is crystal clear. The right, left, and the middle and other groups have been exerting a lot of power in this world. People have been listening to them. And as a result, every 6.5 minutes, a woman or child is raped. Every 7 minutes, someone dies of a drug overdose in America. Every half an hour or so, someone is killed, someone is murdered in America. We see all kinds of problems. Just today, it came out in the news that a police officer was killed trying to perform a search warrant, execute a search warrant in Marysville. And you see the Castro Way was brought up. Marysville. My ex-fiance's name was Mary Kate. And of course, it has, various applications in wordplay, right? Mary Cat, Mary Cut, right? How do you cut? Do you strike like a leopard? Do you strike like a mere golden retriever, a pit bull? Like a falcon? I'm kind of described as like a leopard mixed with a falcon, but as the Son of God. Not the mark of a dead beast, but the Son of God. We see people losing their rights. You see the federal government press Columbia University, to change its rules, threaten them with cutting their funding, something like $400 million of funding. And it came out in the news that Donald Trump tried to sell them property worth $400 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's interesting how that lines up. We see a lot of clear-cut problems and clear-cut failures. People don't know what they're doing, and people are dying all the time. They're being raped and abused while they don't know how to respond. They didn't put on the armor of God, they put on the armor of Lucifer. You have the armor of God in its true form, then, if you get killed or something, you die more like John the Baptist, Stephen the Martyr, or Christ in the Bible. But people aren't dying like that. They're dying while doing the wrong thing. So when that police officer was killed, society failed him big time. They failed to give him a government that was worth serving, a police department that was worth serving, a planet worth living on, worth reproducing in. He died without ever knowing me because of the failure of your cultures, your groups, and you all as individuals. That is the truth. The way is the truth. How do you address this situation? Well, the truth is you need to come into the divine order. Stop snaking me. Stop cheating me out of my right to lead. We see in the news all the time these females, and you see on YouTube and TikTok and wherever, Instagram, wherever, they have some kind of disassociated look in their eyes, some kind of trance-like look in their eyes. They're in a trance state. Their brain is rotting while it is hacked. They're being forged and formed by the machine and artificial intelligence. When Elon Musk said with artificial intelligence, they've summoned a demon. Look it up. He said that. You see all this witchcraft everywhere. You see these churches that pretend to talk about this stuff in a way that is logical and fair. No, they're like some of the most guilty people of all. It's the angry red savages game they're playing. The good Satanist, bad Satanist psychology and witchcraft and Freemasonic craft and so on and so forth. What do Masons do, right? They're Luciferians that dress up and pretend that they're in the right and pretend that they should be allowed to lead and so on and so forth. And some people say, well, I know that. If you know that, why are you being their bitch? If you truly know the implications of that, and you truly understand it and truly grasp it, then you're not going to go along with it. As you go along with it, you make it clear you don't understand it. And a lot of it is very simple. Life is short. A short righteous life is greater than a long wicked life. God is real. God wants you to be righteous and just. God doesn't want you to try to survive like some kind of scared little girl. God wants you to come into the divine order and go to war for God. And in a way that is consistent with universal pinpoint and moral precision. Not senseless violence. Okay, what the situation calls for people to rally to me. Okay, and to form a moral committee. And keep in mind, it's clear that I'm the only one worthy to lead. The rest of these people on this planet, even all put together, should not be able to overrule me. And on the highest and deepest spiritual decisions and all spiritual decisions, they're not able to. But if we were to form a committee, they should not be able to in terms of the decisions, because it is clear that I'm fair and just and right. And as individuals and as groups, it's clear that they're not fair and just and right. Your democracy is a demon, crazy system. It was the people who elected the officials. It was the people who formed this country in 1776 and its rules, in their hypocrisy. It was the people who failed to rally to me. It's the people who are persecuting me on behalf of the state, the governing class included. When I say the people, I mean the quote-unquote people, rich and poor alike. It was the so-called people that formed 20,000 denominations of Christianity when a house divided cannot stand. And if you're going to unite for the truth, not for falsehood. If they're to unite without me, it'd be for falsehood, not for the truth. It's the people that practice romantic injustice time and time again. They're not worthy to lead themselves. God did not design the planet for them to lead themselves, but for people to be led by God through me. And if in your arrogance, that's not acceptable to you, and that's what you do with your free will, I'm going to make sure your souls cook to the extreme in hell. I don't care if it's that cop who just died. I don't care if it's someone in my family. Anyone who rebels against God is going to fucking have their soul cooked forever, and I don't give a shit about your conception of respect. I'm Christ, I'm in charge. Fuck your funerals, fuck your rules, fuck your customs, fuck your traditions, and fuck you if you're not going to obey God through me. So you see that they disrespect me all the time, right? This country, the inhabitants of the earth, what have you. They run a psyop on me. They waste the best years of my life. The females in their communities who are attractive shun me. They don't want to date me because I don't worship the devil. Okay? They deal in false conceptions of equality and in white supremacy. Okay? If somebody has been righteous their whole life and they're the top martial artists ever, are they equal to someone else? No. Okay? They're greater than that person. And for those of you who will start crying like little girls, okay? When you see you're probably the same person. If you see a celebrity, you stop everything you're doing and try to take a picture or go try to talk to that person or get an autograph. Is that equality? No. You listen to your bosses and your parents more than other people. Is that equality? No. You have favorite sports stars, favorite celebrities. You have a crush on somebody. Is that equality? No. It's like you don't understand what the word means. If you think everyone is exactly the same, you're an idiot. And if you agree that they're not all exactly the same, and you're going to tell the most righteous person that ever lived that he's not special, that he's not more important than other people, because you think people are all equal, and then live your life as if that's not the case, and prefer other people over him, and listen to other people and not him. Team up with other people and not him. That's fucking sick. You damn hypocrites. And so when we look at things, lots of things given away. Models and output. In that model, are you treating the most righteous person fairly? No. Are you treating righteous people in general fairly? No. Are you treating God fairly? No. So the model is wrong. The output is wrong. The output is unfair scum everywhere, hypocrites, dumbasses, people who have a trance-like look in their eyes, which by itself, I don't really hold against them because there's technology. Hell, sometimes I have a trance-like look in my eyes, probably more often than not. But they have a trance-like look in their eyes and they're dumber than a doorknob. That I do hold against them. Because I know you have a certain amount of free will in the midst of that, especially when you're aware that they're hacking your brain. There's things you can do to make sure that your overall output is fair and just and logical and rational. But you don't do that. So on the issue of this gentleman, this police officer was killed. Okay. I don't hesitate to make examples of people. So when they said, things in a way that suggested that I better not make him an example, what have you, I'm going to make that example almost certainly. Because I got to send them that message. I don't care who you are. Okay? No one is above God's law. God and Christ are above the law where it matters most. They might lock me up. They might shoot me down. They might fume me and poison me and throw little fits, gay fits, Jew fits, white supremacist fits, token minority fits. They might act like complete bitches. But I am above their law. And time overkills that. Logic overkills that. Wisdom overkills that. But they're not above God's law and my law, which are the same. God and I have the same law. You have the law of mere pirates, mere flesh-based worms. Speaking of worms, I absolutely abhor what Israel is doing in Palestine. A lot of people say the same thing. It's almost cliche, but it still needs to be said. And they're doing the same thing. White Jews, LGBT, token minorities, they're doing the same type of thing here in America. Some Jews themselves are the victim. Heck, some Palestinians are crypto Jews. So they're so racist that they hate their own race. Now, to put in perspective, because some of you think it's a good idea somewhere, somehow, can you imagine a filthy dog? Imagine the kind of worm who thinks that their group or their race should go into San Francisco, San Jose, Morgan Hill, Santa Cruz, any place that seems anywhere near desirable, and gentrify and cause inflation, cause crime, cause homelessness, cause various problems that cause people to leave. And so they take up the housing and they buy the slots for the restaurants and they lease the buildings for the businesses. That is so damn selfish. They don't understand why greed is disgusting. They don't understand why greed is toxic and filthy, why relationships based in greed instead of justice and righteousness are sickening, that a long greedy life is a fate far worse than death, far worse than it. They don't understand that a short life, righteous life is far greater than a long greedy life. Can you imagine if Romeo was talking to Juliet and she said, she'd rather live a long greedy slut fucking life like a bitch with everyone in her tribe or clan or grouping because she doesn't understand the importance of love. Would the book have the same meaning? Would that still be the greatest love story ever, according to the West? Would it be a better love story, perhaps? It's fucking pathetic. The type of worms who come to this planet and say that they want to live their life being a greedy gentrification bitch are scum. You all know it. I don't know why people do a certain way. And I bring up this police officer who's, seems, he was, I call him a gentleman because I'm trying to be polite, okay? Because I brought up many times that people for their gang, for their military, for law enforcement, for, various groups, they put their life on the line. Females put their life on the line cheating on their husband. People who do extreme sports and people who do lots of drugs. Okay, they put their life on the line for all kinds of things, but they won't do it for God. That's poor judgment. And when they do some kind of war art, it's an inferior war art. It's not based in wisdom. True martial arts, true war arts are based in wisdom. It's based in greed and stupidity and selfishness and childishness and things that are toxic. So I will say that I do feel a little bit bad about what I said earlier, but I'm going to keep it in the video nonetheless because it has to be said. Law enforcement in America, okay, and every country in the world, they're the enemies of God. Why? Because I'm having a bad day or something? No. They're the enemies of God because they worship the devil, and that is the spirit of snaking me, of cheating me. And am I right to leave the spirit of being such an adversary that it's like a dragon, it's an ancient serpent, it's a beast, it's an adverse system that they have. When they look at life, they think that, obeying the government or their cult or their gang is more important than obeying God. And again, going back to Juliet. When you think about being in a gang or law enforcement or any political group, social club, whatever, you're married to women who don't understand, to a bare minimum degree or better, why Juliet did what she did. You're dating these females. And they often get tossed around like something gets passed around, like a blunt or something. And some think because they're a corporate professional or something that it's okay or something. It's fucking sick. There's a reason why the witch is referred to as a hag. Now, no offense to the LGBT community, But a lot of information points to witchcraft and fairycraft, right? The fairy is even a derogatory term, the word fairy, for homosexuals. Everything points to LGBT culture there. And a bunch of people who are like Masons who get dressed in suits, who try to pretend that they're more manly than other people. And there's some kind of craftsmen who are poor, any poor white guy who's a Republican in a pickup truck, who they try to make seem more masculine than other people to kind of confuse things. Because obviously, logically, your oppressor is less masculine than the oppressed resisting. And they want you to be confused about that, because the more they confuse things in your environment and the stimuli that your brain is processing, the idea is that the more you're confused about what to do. But there's only so much you should be confused about. For example, if you're in a crowd and you started losing your kid in the crowd, would you be confused about the fact that you got to find your kid? No. So it's confusing, it's chaotic, it's pandemonium, it's darkness. But you still know that you should have your priorities straight. So when the storm that the Lord allows to occurs, and you're clinging on to bitch-made fucking shit, the Son of Man comes back and say, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you acting like bitches? You see what I'm saying? When you see all this sexual immorality in society and you take part in it, that's how you respond to the question, what should you do? You think you should sleep with devils? Okay, it's also at a time where most females in this country who are adults, can buy firearms and stuff like this. So you have the option to stand firm, buy a gun, go to the range, buy a knife, in case your gun jams, practice stabbing in the air, and to stand firm and fight for something like a grown woman, but you didn't do that. And the males didn't do that. So the nature of my actions, including my words, is such that they're more powerful than all the actions of everyone else put together. Everyone else are like a bunch of kids in a kiddie pool, splashing around, giggling. Think of 8 billion kids in kiddie pools all over the place, splashing around, giggling. Dressed like, dressed in pool, apparel, except for with the hats of wizards and witches. And they're acting like they're doing something. And they giggle at each other and say, hey, we're all giggling together. Then you see the top martial artists ever possible insisting that they do the right thing, striking at world record speed. And then they start acting like little girls as they fume and poison them. While they're still in that same giddy, bitch-made spirit. So it doesn't matter if no one hears my videos. When we consider in terms of power, I'm expressing true authority. They are whining and giggling and simping together. They're going out like bitches. They're living and dying as bitches and like bitches. So the people who change my voice and they say, well, no one's listened to your videos. Well, again, I've brought this up many times. Rick and Morty are missing my videos. Clueless, The Simpsons, The Jetsons, The Fraggles, The Lemmings. Who are you talking about? American Stifler? Stifler looks like he just got done sucking a kid's dick, and he makes that little fraternity face he makes. He looks like a young George Bush or an older George Bush making that fraternity face. That one guy on the news who interviewed him, 322, huh? 322, a weird frat face. Looks like it comes from a long line of people who never manned up a moment in their fucking lives. So who exactly should I be concerned about when it comes to them not hearing my video? Jocks? Nerds? Skaters? Rockers? Thugs with no higher cause? Playing into the neo-colonialist hand just like the other groups? Corporate people. Oh boy, do corporate people look bitch these days. So how's that money treating you, huh? You blood-sucking fucking vampires. When people look around and say, what's going on here? You say it has something to do with corporations. You're like, hi guys, that's us. We're bitches. It's fucking retarded. Like Bezos when he's making an immature face. Oh boy. Zuckerberg? Someone give him some vitamin pills or something. He's fucking sickly. What the fuck don't you people get? Fraternities? Freemasons? Probably sucking a kid's fucking dick. Dressed like a clown. So when you consider the facts, then you must know that I'm manning up and everyone else is going out like bitches. Except for my parents are blameless and there's something to be said about my brothers. And that's about it. But we must also know that people are feeling on a spectrum. Some people are cooler than others, they're more nice than others are, what have you. And they're trying harder than others are. So if you're trying harder, I do appreciate that. But you've got to truly accomplish. It's not enough to believe, you have to achieve. And I urge the governing class to discuss things with me. Don't let the fact that I have to chastise you people for what you're doing prevent you from forming some kind of intermediary committee to discuss things with me like mature adults. I'm going to make another video where that's the main point of the video, which is to, again, urge you to make the right decision. There's basically nothing for me in this world anymore. Even if I was made a billionaire and given an attractive female, yeah, I'd be enjoying myself to some degree. But not that much. Because my ability to convey true love in a relationship and otherwise in the flesh is diminished significantly. But it's certainly infinitely greater than everyone else put together, don't get me wrong, but it's still diminished in a way that is noticeably different. And again, I'm not trying to be cocky or something. These are the facts. Let me just go ahead and make this other video. I got a lot of videos to upload, and let's wrap this up.